Welcome to the Liberty Flames podcast channel. Time now to introduce you to the Flames making news on the court, the field, and in the classroom.
Welcome into this week's Liberty Flames softball show. We've got some special guests on, some very happy special guests this week. We'll hear from Lilly Heidorn and Coach Dot Richardson here in just a little bit. Brynn McManus, welcome into the show.
Thank you.
And I guess I should recap for the audience, what has kind of happened in the last few days. The Lady Flames were able to knock off Texas A&M, and I think we kind of get lost in that you also had to beat Marist along the way. I think everybody's just been buzzing about the two wins against Texas A&M, and even the loss was high drama against the Aggies, but you had to beat Marist as well in that mix. How excited, before we get into any of the details of what happened, just how excited was that dugout when it crashed? Well, I mean, you were out there when they were crashing into you when the game ended, but what was the vibe?
Unreal, kind of. Like, even it's Tuesday now and that happened Sunday and it still doesn't feel real, like that just happened. But it was just like proud because we've been working for this all year. Like my last 2 years, even we were 1 out away. We beat Georgia and then we were 1 out away from going to Supers. And even my freshman year, we beat UCLA, but like we did it this year and we're not done. So it was just an unreal feeling, and it still is. And
this part that you said about not being done, I think that it'd be really easy for any team that has never been to Supers before to just consider that, oh, that's what we were shooting for, that's what we were hoping for. But you beat the number 1 team in the country twice.
Yeah.
You can certainly beat the number 16 team in the country twice. So the World Series is attainable, and I know that's a dream that every college softball player had all the way back to probably when they were 5 years old, just hitting the ball out in the backyard. So is it surreal?
Absolutely. Like, I get chills just thinking about it. Like, we're 2 wins away from going to the ultimate dream of going to the College World Series in Oklahoma City. Like, it's unreal. Yeah, it's crazy. I think people are now almost seeing us as the threat. Like, we have to go to all these places because we're not seeded in the tournament, but we beat the number 1 team. Like, we're unstoppable right now. So I think people should be scared of us, right? We were the underdogs, but now what are we? Like, we're kind of the top dog almost. Like, we can beat anyone, and I think that gives us extreme confidence to go into these games knowing we can do it.
Once the reality of beating Texas A&M kind of sunk in, and then you knew how the bracket was set up. You didn't know who was going to win because Oregon and Stanford were still playing at that point. But when I know that the Stanford winning would have meant maybe some home games. It wasn't 100% confirmed, but it seemed like with Stanford not having a legit softball stadium that they would have had to have come here. But then the flip side of that was Oregon, and when you realize, okay, it's going to be Oregon, what were those emotions?
I cried. I'm from Oregon. Like, I grew up wanting to go to Oregon and going to camps at Oregon, and I'm a kid from Oregon. Like, it's not a huge softball state, and I took a leap of faith coming out here, and now I get to play super regionals in Oregon with my family watching, and like, it's just amazing. And I was so excited. Like, I get to play super regionals in Oregon, like with my family there, and just, I'm so excited. It would have been awesome to host, but I get to go home. Like, I'm so excited, and my teammates get to see where I'm from, and when we win or if we win, like, to do that in my home state is just like, it's crazy.
And there's a lot of Oregon connections on this team as well.
Yeah. Paige is from Oregon too. Like, we played travel ball together growing up, so I know it's a big deal for her. And like, yeah. And I know, like, our basketball team played Oregon and our football team played Oregon. Like, it's just God that this was his plan for us, and it's amazing what he had in store for us and me and Paige and this whole team. So, yeah.
Well, and I'm sure we talked before we came on that you've got a huge section of fans that are scrambling to try to get tickets right now. So I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Having support and people that are cheering me on. I mean, after those wins at A&M, the media kind of blew up over us, like our whole team. So it's just people are wanting to support, and it's amazing. Like, yeah, having that fan base and family and friends, it means the world.
When we look back at how it transpired to win the regional and go now to Oregon, the game against Marist, that wasn't an easy game. Mm-hmm. They're a high-scoring team. You guys got to win. What was it, 10-5 was the final score in that game. You play Texas the next day. You fall behind 4-0. No quit. Come back win. You get an 8-5 victory. You got the momentum, but you still got to beat them twice. And it was, we saw this last year in that same spot against Georgia. It's not easy to beat the host school twice throughout the course of the weekend. And game, what would that have been, 6 on Sunday? 6-0 lead. Everything's going in the right direction. And then Texas A&M, as we've seen all year, they can put up runs.
Yeah.
They scored 10, and now your back's against the wall again. You guys dig out of that 4-run hole, have the game-winning run at third, so close to winning it in the first game, in the bottom of the 7th. You were the guys with the home team in that game. But you don't. They get 3 in the 8th. They win, and now you go, oh, did we miss our chance? Was that our chance to win this thing? The momentum was on the Aggie side. What was being said in that, what was about 30, 40-minute break in between games?
Yeah. There was a lot of frustration because we were so close, and we had 6 errors that game. There could have been things we could have done to win that game, but we've talked all year about just letting it happen. And we, in chapel before the first game, we talked about having peace from God. And I think I was at peace. I knew that he had a plan for us, and we weren't supposed to win that game. And so we were frustrated, but then we kind of regrouped and we were like, it's another game. We're good. And so I think it was just peace, frustration. We were just ready to go, but we did. The momentum was with them. They just beat us and stuff. But the whole series, we had seen that we come back, we will hit against them, and they will hit against us. So it's just going to be a dogfight, and we ended up coming out on top.
In that game, you fall behind 3-0. So that probably kind of confirmed some of those fears as you guys were now in a hole, and the momentum was definitely on their side. And then Rachel Roop gets up and hits a solo homer, and it wasn't a huge deal as far as the game was concerned. Mm-hmm. It just made it 3-1, but it seemed like that kind of calmed everybody down, got a little bit of excitement back in the dugout. Mm-hmm. Momentum started sliding your way. How huge was that? Even though it was a solo homer, how big was that homer?
It was huge. It was the 6th inning, 5th?
5th inning.
5th, yeah. And so it was huge, but also it wasn't the game winner. So we couldn't get too high or too low about it. It was great to get on the board, and then we kind of just kept going with it. Home runs are great momentum. So then we got the momentum back and they didn't score the next inning. So then it was 3-1, okay, and we know the game can switch in one swing, as we just saw. So it was a huge deal, yeah. Savannah
Jesse steps up with, you guys were doing this with 2 outs all weekend. Mm-hmm. Just so many 2-out RBIs. It was unbelievable. Savannah gets up. She's got a runner on, 2-run game. Wasn't having her best weekend. Matter of fact, I don't think she had a hit yet in the regional. And boy, just absolutely crushed the ball. And that changed everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super happy for her. That's my roommate. She's one of my best friends, and she was super frustrated. She had gotten no hits that weekend, and she wasn't even hitting the ball hard. She was really frustrated, but that just shows you softball, it can change in 1 second, and anything can happen. So she got a pitch. She knew that girl Kennedy was throwing her inside, so she was on time, and the pitch was really inside, and she got a hold of it, and it just worked out, and it was amazing.
And it'd be easy at that point to kind of go, okay, well, now we've tied this game up. We're back in it. Mm-hmm. There's 2 outs. We'll get them next inning. But no, a walk, a hit. Now there's 2 runners on. Maybe a tactical error by Texas A&M, because at that point the runners were at second and third, and first base was open. But you've made a lot of teams pay when they walk Rachel Roop. So that might have been in the scouting report. We don't want to put the bases loaded because that McManus girl, she can come through in the clutch too. So the fact that you've had some big hits behind Roop maybe was the reason that they came after her, and then she hits the home run that everybody's still talking about.
Yeah, I was really surprised they didn't walk her, honestly. Yes, I've had some huge clutch hits, and it fires me up when they walk Roop to get to me, but still, she has 20-something home runs, and I have less than 10. Like, I was fully expecting for her to be walked, and I was locked in, ready to get the job done, but they didn't, and she made them pay. But I was fully ready, and there's a reason I'm behind Rube, because I do have that mindset of put some respect on my name, like I can do it too, and so I was ready. But yeah.
I think sometimes, and I don't want to speak for Texas A&M, but I think sometimes when you are the big bad team on the block, you go, well, we can get anybody out, and they're a little less likely to have that intentional or slightly intentional walk. Usually it's not completely intentional, but
100%. And I think that's why mid-majors are looked over a little bit, because you're Texas A&M number one. It's still a bat and a ball. Like, anything can happen, and we're not we're a good team, and it's about time people see that. And so I'm really happy we did what we did, because just because we're not a Power 4, Power 5 big name school, we're made supers. We beat the number one team in the country, so now what? It was it's just sometimes people need to be humbled a little bit. Just because you're the number one team doesn't mean big things can't happen.
After that, it still wasn't easy, because they scored a couple of runs in the bottom half of that inning. It's a one-run game. You go to the bottom of the seventh. How did you see it from your eyes at first base, that final half inning? Yeah,
well, we knew the whole time that it is Texas A&M. Like, they are good. They're going to score runs. It's going to be a hitter's game, kind of. It's going to be back and forth. So we knew they were going to score, but we had a 3-run lead. So we did have some breathing room. Like, it was like, okay, we're good, whatever. But I felt really calm. And like I said, I was just at peace, because I knew God had a plan. I knew if we were supposed to win that game, we were going to. And I knew if God had other plans, we weren't going to. So I think it was huge that what Yoder came in and did. She hadn't pitched all weekend, and to come in and shut them down and almost make them look silly. Like, I don't think they had one hard hit ball off her. They were getting jammed and strikeouts, and she did great. So it was just, I felt at peace. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't anything. I just knew what was supposed to happen was going to happen, and we came out on top. It was amazing. And I hadn't played first all year, and I was just trusting my teammates and trusting my abilities. I've worked so hard at first, and it all worked out.
Now, you weren't nervous. The rest of us were very nervous in that last half inning, because, again, it's just a little bit of deja vu. There's a couple of runners on. At this point, it's a one-run game, a gapper, and it's a walk-off. So, I mean, there was it's awesome that you weren't feeling it, but I imagine the fans and the coaches, and I don't know about Kaylin. I talked to her afterwards. She seemed pretty calm too through the whole process. But as you're standing there, 2 on, 2 outs, a 3-2 count. What's going through your mind? What did you see on that final pitch?
Well, it wasn't one of their biggest hitters, so that was the first thing I realized. Like, it was a smaller lefty, which she can still obviously do big things, but I trusted Yoder. And again, I just had peace knowing that what was ever supposed to happen was going to happen. And God was on our side. We won, and it was amazing. It still doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like that actually happened, but it did, and we're here, and it was amazing, yeah.
And then the dog pile, the celebration afterwards, and I'm sure as soon as you got a hold of your phone, there were probably 1,000 texts of everybody congratulating you and the national attention. It's so hard to win a regional, period. No matter who you play. If you're going to win, you might as well make history, and you guys did that, and you're the talk of softball. I mean, Major League Baseball tweeted out and put a post out on YouTube about you guys making history. That's enormous. It's transcending just the sport of softball, the attention that you guys are getting. Has it even sunk in yet?
Absolutely not. Like, I get chills thinking about it, and it's crazy how, like, I go on any social media and it's us, and I'm like, what? It still doesn't feel real. Like, I didn't realize how many people were watching our games and how much they enjoyed it and said it was the best softball they've ever seen. And I was out there on that field. They're talking about, like, the things this team has done, and we're not done yet, is crazy. And it makes me so emotional, because it's just Liberty. Like, when I committed to Liberty, I didn't even know what Liberty was. And now we're getting posted everywhere, and we have hundreds of thousands of new fans and people rooting us on and seeing the Lord through us. And it's incredible. Yeah, it's amazing.
Your coach was obviously very well known in the world of softball before she became the coach at Liberty University. So she's got that name recognition. Even the casual fans go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, the Olympics. Yeah. I remember that, you know, 2000, 96. Yeah, I remember Dot Richardson. How many times in your travels, even away from the team, does someone come up and go, I know your coach?
Yeah, she's so well known, and I didn't even understand how well known she was until I got here. And people are always asking, how is she? Is she always that happy? And I'm like, yes, she's actually that happy, and she's such an amazing human on top of the softball player she was, and what she did for our game is incredible, and now to do it as a coach is even more incredible. And she's just so positive and really reflects the Lord and has helped her players grow so much in him. And she's the backbone of this team, and it's so cool when people ask me about her, because I can be like, she really is that amazing. Like, she's the best.
Her ESPN hits during the game are, I mean, they're entertainment in themselves. I just tuned in to watch that.
Yeah. Sometimes people are always like, oh, Dot's being interviewed right now. It's going to be a while. She's always got something to say, and it's always something good and positive. And yeah, she's a legend. So
let's talk about you a little bit. What are you studying? What's your aspirations once your softball career is over?
I'm studying finance, and I have a minor in sport management. So I have no clue what I want to do after softball. I think I want to go back to Oregon and do something in the business world. But yeah, finance, it's broad, so can do whatever with it. And then I love sports, so just having a minor in sport management gives me even more options. So yeah.
Could you ever see yourself coaching one day?
I don't think so. Not right now, at least. We'll see. I love this game so much, but I don't know if I have enough patience to do that. We'll see what age level and what opportunities come up. But yeah, and I also just know there's more in life than softball. Like, I'm having so much and soaking in every moment right now, but at one point I may want to move on. We'll see.
Well, you know, things can change from a minute to the next, and we've seen some in different sports, not just softball, but other sports, where someone said that, nah, I never want to coach, and then 5 years later they're a head coach somewhere, and you go, that's a different story than what I remember from our last podcast. But that's a lot of time to worry about those things. How about your family? Any other athletes in the family?
My dad played community college baseball for a few years. My sister, actually, my little sister Riley, she committed to play basketball at the College of Idaho. So she's a senior and graduates in June, and we'll go do that next year. But my mom, not really. So, yeah. But
how about things outside of sports that keep you busy? What's an entertaining August afternoon when you got nothing going on?
Yeah, well, being from Oregon, there's lots of hikes to go on. You got the beach, shopping. I love playing games too with my family, and card games, board games, outdoor games, pickleball, all of that. Just being with the people I love.
You mentioned the beach. I don't think of Oregon and beaches. You think of California, you think of Florida, Hawaii, whatever. I think of like rocky shorelines when I think of Oregon, but there's some nice beaches too.
I wouldn't say nice. They're definitely not Hawaii tropical at all. It's freezing. The water is probably 20 degrees, and it's really windy usually and cloudy, but there is a beach. It is the Pacific Ocean. It's just maybe not what you think of when you think of a beach. It's more to just see, not to lay there and tan, because it's usually like 50 degrees, but it is a beach.
Okay. Well, now you've got a lot of us, including myself, of all the places I've traveled, never been to Oregon. And I think I can speak for Joe Carmody. He's not been to Oregon. So I know it's a lot of your teammates probably haven't been to Oregon. Some of the fans that are going to be flying in to watch you guys play have never been. Give us a little scouting report on the Oregon area we're going to be in.
I'm a fan. I love Oregon. I'm proud to be from there. It's beautiful, very scenic, green. It's not muggy at all, which is amazing. It's hard coming here, and like Texas was so hot and muggy, but It's not muggy. It's usually not hotter than 80 degrees. It's awesome. I love it.
Okay. How about food? What's you go to Texas and they're going to talk about brisket. You go to Carolina, they're going to talk about vinegar barbecue, whatever. Seafood if you're in Maine or So what are we talking about in Oregon?
Honestly, I don't think we have like an Oregon food or like something that like I don't crave anything while I'm here that we don't have. Like Louisiana's like seafood, like you were saying, all that stuff, like Cajun boils. Oregon, there's nothing really that special, I would say. We don't have the southern stuff. Like you go to a restaurant, there's no sweet tea. I don't like sweet tea. I think it's disgusting, but I know all of my teammates really like it.
You like regular tea? Okay, you just don't like tea.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Not my thing, but yeah, we don't have the southern stuff. No sweet tea. I don't know. There's some good Mexican food and
donuts? Have I heard something about donuts?
There's a place in Portland called Voodoo Donuts.
That's it.
Yes, and I've actually never been there. But it's a famous place, so maybe we could stop there, or if we go to Portland, we'll see. But there's some cool things to see in Portland, but it's a little scary, so hopefully we don't go into Portland. But yeah, Oregon's beautiful. I love it.
Did you grow up a Blazers fan?
Not really. I'm like an hour and 15 minutes from Portland, and
No,
they were never good enough to cheer for them, so... No. Okay.
Well, there's talk of maybe Portland being in the running for a baseball team, Major League Baseball team. So that'd be
that'd
cool.
be awesome to have the option to do that too and go to those games. But I'm a Dodgers fan, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
If Oregon got a team though, wouldn't you have to at least have a secondary?
Yeah. When they weren't
team?
playing the Dodgers, maybe I'll root for them.
Maybe they'll be in the American League, and you can say, okay, they're my American League team.
Yeah. We'll do that.
As a Dodger fan, you've had a lot of things to be happy about the last few years, so that's good.
Yeah.
Any other sports that you follow?
I love women's basketball. Like I love watching the WNBA. Caitlin Clark.
Did you play?
Yeah, I did play basketball, and my sister plays. So I played until like 8th grade or something, but then wanted to focus more seriously on softball. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Portland, I should know the answer to this, and I don't. Does Portland have a WNBA team?
No, but I think one's coming. I think there was an announcement saying that it's in the works. So a lot of big things coming for Portland.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Well, last thing, I always ask everybody this, and some people are very quick to give me an answer, and others kind of go, I can't think of anything. Do you have any hidden talents? If there was a Liberty Softball's Got Talent show, what would you get up on the stage and do?
I think I'm one of those I don't know people. I don't like embarrassing myself, so I don't know. Not singing, definitely not dancing. I don't think I have anything. No.
Would you want to be the one hosting the show?
Sure, I'll do that. I'll host the show, and I'll watch everyone from the seats.
Because there are some talented people on your team that are, obviously talented players, but then beyond that, we've heard stories of singers and dancers, and that KK could do a comedy show or whatever, but it would be a fun thing to host.
Yeah.
So can I be your co-host?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Of course.
and then Coach Dot will finish it off, and
she'll put on some kind of show.
That's right. Well, congratulations. One last thing. And all the accomplishments that this team and yourself individually that you've had, if you had to name, let's say, the 3 top highlights individually, things that you've done either in the field now that you're out there, chopping at first base, or in the batter's box.
Definitely my grand slam against UTEP last year when they walked Roop. I can't even think of anything else. The home run against Marist was pretty cool, and that kind of comes to my mind when they walked Roop again. In the first out against, it was the 7th inning, and I got a ground ball from Mac Barbara in the 7th inning of the first Texas A&M game when we upset them, and it was my first ground ball of the season, and I backhanded it and got the out, and it was kind of surreal, like, I'm out here playing first and I can do it, like, and that was one of the outs that helped us win the game in the top of the 7th, or the bottom of the 7th, so that was pretty cool. So
the double play from Roop in the outfield was pretty cool.
Yes, that was also cool. my mind is everywhere, so I'm probably thinking of some other things I've done. But that was cool too. I was like, oh, got to get to the bag, and then I just stuck my little toe on there. But yeah,
it looked like you were a wide receiver and she was a quarterback and just led you perfectly.
Yeah,
right? Yep, boom.
Yeah, it was a good throw, and we ended up making it happen. So yeah,
some really cool plays, and still an opportunity for even more highlights before this season is over, as you guys have Oregon ahead, and then, hey, go to the College World Series. If you go to the College World Series, you're taking Texas A&M's spot. So you've got the number one hole in the bracket, which, that's everybody's good once you get to the College World Series, but it should be, in theory, the easiest of the routes to get, continue on to a championship series. But outstanding. You guys have given us an absolute thrill. I think I can speak for all of Flames Nation in saying there has been so much drama at the end of this year. Positive, some negative, but, that's just the ebbs and flows of it all. Yeah. I was telling Coach Dot, if someone said, write a script for the most dramatic softball weekend, they could not have written anything more dramatic than what you guys actually played out.
Yeah, and we're not done, which is the more exciting part. Like, we still have more softball to play, and one of the 16 teams that get to say that. And so we're excited and ready, and let's do it.
That was Brynn McManus on the Liberty Flames Softball Show. We'll be back with Lilly Heidorn right after this.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
Lynchburg Nissan is jumping into March Madness with full-court press savings. Right now, save $6,100 off MSRP. Lock in rates as low as 2.39%. And get up to 130% of fair KBB value for your trade. And because we believe in driving with confidence, every new Nissan comes with our million-mile powertrain warranty. That's peace of mind for the road ahead. Don't miss these slam-dunk deals. Visit Lynchburg Nissan today or shop online anytime at lynchburgnissan.com. Home of the million-mile warranty.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels in the Liberty Flames.
Earthlight Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthlight Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back into the Liberty Flames Softball Show. We're now joined by Lilly Heidorn. And Lilly, welcome in.
Hi.
I got to ask, because everybody knows you as the runner. Mm-hmm. Like, that's you. I'm sure there's people that barely that come up to you and say, "Oh, I saw you running." Like,
yeah,
it's kind of your superhero power.
That's a nice way of putting it. It's a very unique role, and not something I initially knew that was going to be for me when I came here. But I mean, it has been one of the most rewarding things. It's what I'm good at, and I don't know. For me, it's like the easiest thing to do on the field.
You have scored a lot of big runs in your career. Been on the now. There's sometimes there could be a move early in the game. You could come in the first or second inning if the circumstances were just perfect for needing a pinch runner. But most of the time, you're coming in late in the game, sixth inning, seventh inning, extra innings.
Yeah.
What are a few of your fondest memories of coming in and clutch spots and having to work the bases?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is definitely when we beat Clemson. My sophomore year, I came in, I got put on second base, and game was on the line. I knew that Crane was going to hit the ball like that, it was kind of a crazy thing. As I was getting out on the bases, I had actually thought about that. I was like, I can see her hitting the ball up the middle, and she did exactly that. And I think that would be one of my best moments. I think back to my freshman year, I believe it was the semi-championship. I came in and I think I scored the walk-off run. And then, of course, this most recent weekend, well, not the most recent, but our last conference championship, I got to score in a big moment. And that was just because Dory had a perfect hit through the infield. And moments like that just remind me why this is such an amazing game.
Been a few times that you've been on the base on the bases whenever Rachel Roop has hit the ball to the moon. And so, not as much stress, just kind of trotting around.
It makes my job easy. I don't know. I get to just sit there and look at it. How do
you mentally prepare? Because again, you could be thrown out there in the first or second inning. Mm-hmm. You may be thrown out there in the 2 outs in the 7th inning. So how do you kind of stay focused in on the game?
Most of my time, I'm usually over by Sammy. I kind of help her out with hitting stuff, looking at the pitcher, just reading the defense on the field, just trying to pick up whatever I can to try to help our team. But for the majority of that, usually I kind of get it in my mind, what a situation would be where I'm going to get put in. So when Jester's going to get on or Crane's going to get on and it's kind of late game and we maybe need a run or so, and then every once in a while Dot will surprise me and she puts me out there. I'm not really expecting it, but for the most part, I just kind of sit there and I try to think about what will my lead be? When do I want to leave? When the pitcher's releasing the ball, because of course you don't want to get called out early now. But most of it is just kind of mental side notes, making a note of everything that the defense does.
Aubrey Norris is also one of the first ones off of the bench. Most of the time you're the first one, but sometimes I guess there's a little bit of a different situation.
Yeah.
If it's second and third, it's almost always going to be you, and maybe if it's first base, it's her. I don't know. Do you guys have a...
She is definitely a step or two quicker than me. So in my older years now, I'm not as quick as I used to be. I know. I just turned 22, so I'm kind of feeling it, even though I shouldn't. But she's a little bit quicker than me, so she can get a good jump on the ball and beat stuff out better than I can. So if there's a chance that they need somebody to steal a base, she's gonna be put on. And I think I get good situational reads. So a lot of it, I like to rely on instinct because it's just, when I go out there, all I'm doing is just what we practice. So, but I think situationally, I think I do a pretty good job, but she's it when we need speed.
You have a lot of hair.
Thank you. I know. Well, I get that. I get that here and there. I'm not really sure what to say back, but you know what? It is a compliment because it's nice.
Okay. Well, I'm getting to the compliment, but I hadn't quite got to the compliment yet. But that hair, it braids very well. So there's the compliment.
Thank you.
And so usually you've got two braids going down. I think today it's just the one.
Just the one, yeah, just for practice.
Is the 2-braid look during the game, not just for a look, is there an aerodynamic issue there that it helps you when you're running?
I've never really thought about it that way. Originally, I used to just put it in I would do double braids and then I'd put it in a ponytail. But my friend Mariah actually said she wanted to see me do the double braids, which is something I did growing up every day. So I just like it better. Honestly, it keeps my head a little bit cooler. It's not as hot, but other than that, no, there's nothing. If anything, I try to keep them out of my face. Every once in a while, they'll whip, and it's the worst when you get hit in the eye with your hair. Oh my gosh! But yeah, nothing special. Just like it that way.
Well, if it was not condensed, I think it would, aerodynamically, it would slow you down.
Might.
There's drag. So I think there's something to that. You need to go to a wind tunnel, like those, the NASCARs, that, where they see how streamlined the car is. I think it would. I think the wind would go well with the hair. So that's pretty good. we see a lot about when as a fan or as a broadcaster, we're just kind of killing time sometimes an hour before the game. You guys are warming up, and you seem like that you enjoy that part of the process as much as the game sometimes. Not just you, but the whole team. Like, you guys have a lot of fun even when you're warming up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's always so many moments. I mean, I love going over a bullpen. A lot of my closer friends are pitching and stuff. I like to hang out and see what they're doing. And then, of course, pregame work is really when I get the most out of it, and I just have a good time. It's carefree. It doesn't matter. You just get to hang out and kind of enjoy the process of getting ready for the game.
What is it about this team? Because it seems like you guys have some really good chemistry and you enjoy being around each other, and that's not always the case with sports teams.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's taken years to get to that. And I mean, we've had so many waves of like big amounts of newcomers coming in, and there's an adjustment period where we try to get used to knowing each other and what we like, what we dislike, because I mean, everybody's so different. We got girls from all sides of the country. It's really a learning process, but and of course everybody has their dips, but I mean, each person has such a different personality, and it plays such a big role in the whole team together. I mean, I think of like Dory. She's very selfless. She's very upbeat. She's can kind of sometimes get in on herself, but she'll get down on herself, which of course everybody does, but each person on this team sees that, and we always try to work on picking each other up. So I like to think of it, if I was in that situation, if I'm down on myself, like what would I want to hear from somebody else? So each person is different in their own way. But I think we have a lot of selfless girls on this team that really want to just push to be great. So we all strive for that right now. And I think that's what's making us so successful.
I think it'd be fair to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you could replace team with family. Mm-hmm. Would you agree? We've
spent so much time together. Even now, I'm about to go back to my apartment, and a lot of my friends are going to come over, and we're just going to hang out and spend time together. And that's really what I'm going to miss the most, I think. There's nothing like being on the field with your teammates and with girls that you know so well here. So it's going to be a big adjustment graduating. But, there's some great moments.
What's next after graduation?
Well, I'm actually staying here. I have a job with the education department. I'm going to be a graduate student assistant for them, and I'm going to work on my master's in clinical mental health counseling. So I'll be here for a few years working on that, and then hopefully, God willing, I will be able to continue on and get my PhD. And end goal, I would like to be a clinical psychologist.
Wow.
But for now, I'll be after I get my master's, I can be a licensed professional counselor and kind of do a little bit of what I want, but still got quite a few years left of school. So, but I'll definitely be around here for a while.
And society in general, that's an honorable profession, but even in the sports world, that aspect is overlooked so much. I know more attention is coming as far as the mental health around athletics, but there's probably still much more to be done. Could you see yourself being in the sports world in that realm?
It's definitely something I've thought about. I mean, being a part of this has really given me a better understanding of that kind of stuff, and I know there's a big need for sports psychologists, and especially, Christian psychologists who have an understanding of that. So I think God has really laid it out perfectly for me to be able to gain this kind of experience being here. So I've had a lot of exposure, and it's, I'm hoping that there will be a place for that in the future. Yes.
Very good. Mm-hmm. How about your softball journey? Well, how did you get from where you started to here, and where did you start? I guess is the good first. That's the first thing to answer.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm from a small farm place. I don't even know a farm because it's not really a town. I just live out in the middle of nowhere. So, Ohio's, there's not a lot going on there. But my dad played baseball in college. He played it in high school. He loved it. And so he really pushed my sister and I to play sports, and softball was what he loved the most. And I grew up, my sister's 4 years older than me. She played in college. She played at Louisiana Monroe and Ohio University. And she had a very different journey than me. So she played softball the whole time in college, but it was not the greatest experience for her. And that kind of pushed me to pursue a college that aligns more with my views on stuff. Politics and just religion especially. I needed to be in a place where I could continue to pursue God and also be able to play the sport that I love. So my sister had coaches that shared very different values, and it ended up just not being the greatest experience for her. So I was blessed with the ability to come to Liberty. A door opened, and it was actually my dad that reached out to coach first, and then they had like a 2-hour-long conversation or something like that. And then she was interested in me. She reached out to my travel coach, and the recruitment process happened very quickly. And so I was watched for a couple weeks. Then I came to visit Liberty, and I saw how it was, and I was very happy that I could be in a place where I could just be coached by somebody that was so passionate about God. And it's really been such an amazing experience and paid off. And there's definitely some bumps and rocks. I was, like you want to do as much as you can for the team, and you want to be on the field as much as you can. And for me, that was stepping into the role of being a runner is very different from what I initially expected, but it's been amazing. So I get to be in some of the best moments, and I get to see my team just do amazing things. Historically,
you probably can't even really understand what it's going to be. You maybe a couple years down the road when you look back and you go, and there's still a journey ahead. It could be a World Series championship for all we know.
I know, right?
But you're gonna look back and go, wow, some of the biggest moments in Liberty athletics history happened on the softball field, and I wasn't just there. I was in the middle of it.
Yeah. It's been such a rewarding experience. And I mean, I was nervous there. I thought it was going to be over, and I was like, wow, I'm not ready for this to be done. And we pulled out, and I don't know, hopefully we can continue on.
Now, you mentioned your family. You guys seem like a pretty close-knit family.
Very close. Yeah, they come to a lot of games. I'm very lucky that I have such a supportive family. I mean, not just my parents and my sister, but my extended family comes. I have my aunt and uncle from Florida. They're going to come to Oregon. So, I'm very lucky that I have such a supportive family.
Does your dad... I mean, I know he had his own successes and he had his own great career, but does he live a little bit vicariously through you?
Definitely lives vicariously through me. So I think he was more nervous than I was. So, which is crazy because I'm like, wow, this is going to be over. But I know that he's been thinking about that, well before. We put up a batting cage in our backyard every year. And this is going to be the first summer that we're not putting it up. So I know he's really feeling that pressure of being done. But he definitely lives for this sport. So he's been just so happy for me, and it's amazing.
How many texts did you get after that second Texas A&M win?
I don't know. I got my aunt and uncle. I got my grandma. I don't even know. There were so many. There were friends reached out on Instagram that I haven't even talked to in years. I think like my neighbor from... I don't know, when I was like in third grade. So the last time I lived in a neighborhood, it was years and years ago. But it was overwhelming. So, to say the least.
Now you mentioned growing up in the country. What's a country summer like from back in Ohio?
It's so nice. We've lived out there for, I want to say, I don't even know. It's been a long time. But since I remember, we've been out there, and we actually moved to our next door neighbor's house a few years ago. I think 5 years ago or so. But
was that weird too?
It was just really weird, but it was an upgrade. So we have like a pool, and we have a pond, and we have plenty of land. I just love going down to we have trails in our woods, and I like being out on the trails and just relaxing out there. We can take the four-wheeler out and just drive. It always smells nice. Right now we keep raising like painted turtles that keep falling in our pool, and it's just there's so many little things that are just calming, and I enjoy being in Lynchburg and being in a place that everything's close by, but I really enjoy the summers at home.
I'm gonna guess the way you've described things, maybe country music on the radio?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Sometimes we have like a little paddle boat we take out into the pond and just sit out there and listen to music with my friends. That's one of my favorite things to do, but it's very nice, very peaceful.
How about hidden talents? And what do you guys like? What is your family? Is there something that if your family wasn't known for softball and baseball, what would they be known for?
I don't know, honestly. Softball has been the most consistent thing in my life, actually. I'm not really sure if there's anything else.
You guys like playing the instruments? Are any games like if we were going to the Heidorns this summer, you get be prepared because we're going to play some karaoke. You better be ready or whatever. Anything I can think of is music and stuff like that. Like extra skills kind of fell off the wagon as like years went on. But I mean, we enjoy fishing. We like swimming, just hanging out. Who's the best fisherman?
Well, last time I went fishing with my dad, he caught 1 bass and I think I only got 2 bass, but I got like 14 sunfish. So I don't know. It's just a toss up, but I really enjoy it.
Were you and your sister competitive growing up?
Oh, yeah.
4-year difference is close enough that you guys can.
Sometimes I would play with her. Sometimes, so my dad coached her travel team for a while. So I would come play with her. If I finished for the weekend, then I would go play with her team. And it was kind of crazy because it was like a big jump. I'm going over, I was like, 14 playing with 18-year-olds. I was like, oh, this feels weird. It was pretty scary, but it was also pretty cool to play with my sister on the field. And she is competitive. She was competitive with me. And I think most often I remember how I had to go play catch with her every day when I was like 5 years old. And she was like going out throwing the ball as hard as she can. And I'm like a little 5-year-old with a glove and I can like barely catch yet. And I'm like trying to figure it out. And she would usually hit me. I'd usually get hit in the mouth every day when I'd come in. Oh, no. And it was just such a mess. And I was traumatized. I didn't want to throw with her for years, but we're fine now. And so usually she'll come out to the field with us if I have to practice when I'm home in the summer, but she doesn't enjoy it as much. She really enjoys her time off from softball. But that might change this year. She might want to do some slow pitch or something. I'm not sure yet.
Could you? Do you have a future with that?
I don't know. I actually a couple summers ago I did play slow pitch leagues just to get outfield practice. I didn't ever hit because it's very different. But just to get some reps in, I would play some slow pitch just because why not? So that kind of stuff gives you the time to just relax and hang out, spend more time with friends in the sport. That's the more important thing. So,
hey, you guys play a church league, and you'd be the ringers.
Could be. We could. I'd have to see if my church has that. I'm not sure, but I think my sister has actually definitely done that. I have not yet, though, but we'll see.
Yeah, because sometimes they're like those co-ed leagues, and so you got to have one guy, one girl, one guy, one girl. Yeah,
I did play co-ed, and I played a women's one too. It was kind of like Monday was the women's, and then Wednesdays was the co-ed. So I would just play back and forth. It was fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The other church is going to go, wait a minute, you got 2 D1 athletes in your...
We just don't tell.
don't tell
Yeah,
anybody.
We don't tell.
Well, congratulations. I know it's not over, and hopefully there's more things to congratulate you guys on. But I'm impressed because something that you said during this conversation, clearly, and actually I should know the answer to this. I don't know the answer. What position did you generally play in high school?
I was a right-handed shortstop.
Okay.
So, I came in, Maybe I played shortstop for about a month or so, and then I got moved to the outfield, and man, that was the weight off my shoulders. I really loved infield, but outfield is like you get to take your time. You're just running for balls. Like I like outfield. It's pretty fun. And then of course I just switched to the left side. I tried out slapping, so it was a big adjustment, but it was fun.
It had been very easy though when you began to realize, okay, my role on this team is going to be very specific. To go, this is the day and age of the transfer portal. People are moving for a lot less reasons than that, bouncing all over the place. But the fact that you stayed at Liberty have been a huge part in your role of where this program has gone is just that's impressive about the kind of the character, and I know I'm sure that makes your dad and your mom proud that that you stuck it out. I mean, you'd love to get some reps in the outfield, I'm sure, but at the same time, some huge runs that you've scored.
Thank you. I know. Career. Well, and I had doubted that for a long time. That was something I struggled back and forth with was, realizing what my role is. But I mean, I think one of the biggest things is just staying committed to a team. And the transfer portal world is crazy. It's people can go back and forth, and that's given so many people great opportunities. I mean, all of our transfers that come in, they're just amazing athletes. And I'm so glad that they get to be a part of this program. So, and I wanted to stay here. I couldn't imagine like leaving my teammates and my friends that I had made here. And I really knew that God had me here for a reason. I mean, and that was in times of doubt, that's what kept me here. So, this door opened for me. I came to Liberty pretty quickly, and suddenly I had, little understanding of Liberty, and then all of a sudden it was going to be the place where I was going to be. And yeah, it's just God had a purpose for me to be here.
Not that you haven't already done this, but what would your pitch be to that next generation? Because so many little girls come to your games. They want the autographs afterwards.
It's so cool.
But now, not only the kids in Lynchburg and in Central Virginia that can physically drive to the games, but you've got little girls all over the country that's watching Liberty softball because of the upset at Texas A&M and the Cinderella run that you're making. And what girl doesn't love Cinderella and doesn't love softball, So you put those two things together, and you guys have the attention of the world. What would you say to those little girls?
I mean, first off, it makes me so happy. It's such a blessing to be put in that spotlight, and not only to, show off our talents, but show off like what God has allowed us to do. And I mean, right now I think about like before every game so far that we've had, our big games that we've been going to, Jay will lead prayer sometimes, and she's always just saying, play for the little girl in you. So each of us on the field, we grew up watching World Series and we grew up watching softball, and it's just so cool that we're here now. But I mean, when I look back on it, I really wish I took in more of the moments with my travel team that I had. And I really wish I took more pride in like crafting my practice and stuff like that. There are just so many things to be grateful for in this sport, and it's really hard. And they're, shedding more light on that with the mental health stuff, but it's worth it. It really is. If it's what you love, it's worth fighting for, and it's worth, putting the time and the effort and the practice in. And even if you don't get your time on the field, there's so much to get out of it, relationship-wise, friendships, through your faith. I mean, there's just so many things you can learn from this sport. So it's really amazing to be given this opportunity to show that to other people. So
I don't think I can add anything to that. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lilly, and we wish you guys nothing but the best as you head out to Oregon.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with Head Coach Dot Richardson right after this on the Liberty Flames Softball Show.
At Carter Bank, we believe life is best lived full of opportunities and dreams, of goals achieved and promises kept. We've been creating opportunities for more people and businesses to prosper since 1974. That means great local lending, convenient access to your money, accounts and guidance that make it easier to get more done. We are Carter Bank, the preferred community bank of Liberty Flames Athletics. Visit carterbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Curious about the Central Virginia housing market? Carl Miller Realty are your caring, competent, trusted advisors for real estate sales in Central Virginia. With over 100 years of combined experience, they are committed to helping clients make informed housing decisions. For a winning game plan and to discover the value of your home, visit carlmillerrealty.com to make your next move a slam dunk.
Thompson Brooks Insurance has been serving Virginia for over 40 years. Helping individuals and businesses with their insurance and investment needs. The team at Thompson Brooks is experienced in understanding life and health insurance, Medicare, and retirement planning. Thompson Brooks Insurance can be reached at 434-385-8500 or online at thompsonbrooksinsurance.com. Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
Century Exteriors offers exterior home renovations, including but not limited to gutters, roofing, siding, home additions, and much more. Century Exteriors makes the process seamless. Call 434-239-6722 for a free on-site estimate or visit centuryexteriors.com and Century Exteriors on Facebook and Instagram. Century Exteriors is a proud supporter of Liberty Flames Athletics.
Welcome back into this week's Liberty Softball Show. We're now joined by Head Coach Dot Richardson. Coach, welcome in.
Thanks for having me again, Jamie. I love it.
And I know you have talked, and everybody in the country wants to talk to you, so I appreciate it. We won't keep you long because I know your voice is still recovering, but it's not so much from the interviews. You were telling me you had to scream to get over the top of the Texas A&M fans to be able to communicate with your team.
Yeah, Texas A&M calls their fans the 12th man, I think, because of football. And so they were cheering so loud, and I'm trying to get a hold of our outfielders to get their attention. And I lost my voice a little bit, but totally worth it.
No doubt. So if people have been under a rock and they don't know what happened over the weekend, if you had to sum it up in a headline sentence, what would it be?
God is faithful. And you guys, when I say that, it's not about because we won. I'm just saying because when you give your life to the Lord, right, and you know that you have the opportunity to be in a situation where God has given you, and that means the players, the teams, for you individually watching, to give you the gifts to do something and the passion, then great things can happen. But it takes time. And as I look back, being at Liberty, starting with humble beginnings in a double wide trailer, with almost a rec field to where now you could fit 4 double wides right in our office space right now, and the 7 batting cages in the stadium that people are using to help design their new stadiums. But you see the team each year believe more and more in using the sport to give their worship back to the Lord instead of worshiping the game, right? So when you see your team get there and they're playing with just freedom because they love to play the game and they're not worried about the outcome, they're going to compete to be the best they can be, and knowing their best is good enough. It relieves so much of this unnecessary, in quotations, pressure that they would put on themselves through their career, right? What if I don't get a hit? What if I strike out? What if we lose? All those negative thoughts. And that's what I'm most pleased about. They work very hard. After last year, 1 out away from supers, what did they do? They let it fuel them to say, we are right there. And now guess what? We're there. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited. And so I don't know if that was just one sentence, but just believing and achieving. Let's just keep doing it.
I've seen multiple comments on YouTube and Facebook, wherever, of people saying, I watched the game and I saw the interview with your coach on ESPN, and now I'm a Liberty fan. And I'm not trying to embarrass you when I say that, but that just shows you how much, it's a half inning break interview. Most people don't even pay attention to those.
Yeah.
Sometimes the coaches have something to say, and sometimes they're just throwing out coach speak. But the fact that what you say during those interviews are getting people's attention.
I didn't realize that. I just think God puts us in different platforms. For those that are working your job, your family, your children, and to be in softball, it's a fun, competitive game. I love it. But it also is a platform to hopefully inspire others. And it's humbling. Like when the Lord can use you, you guys think about it. Did you ever think Liberty softball was going to be at a regional at Texas A&M? God knew. And just being at the #1 seed in the nation, to be there, the audience that is watching, and then to show the gifts that we have, that A&M has, and to battle it out. Come on, Jamie, those were some good games, weren't they?
Oh, total drama.
Awesome, right? That's what softball is, and that's why the ratings are so high. That's why the exposure is so high. And you guys, it doesn't have to be in a Power 4. It's about putting a team together and having opportunity, and we're seizing it. We can't control what conference we're in, right? And we're in the conference the Lord wants us to be, and we'll be moving wherever the Lord wants us to move, if we move at all, right? It's a matter of just keep moving towards Him, right? And when you do that, great things happen. But I'm so proud that, that fans are tuning in, and they do postseason for sure. And to deliver, I'm glad we're building some more. We're building the Flames Nation, and more importantly, hopefully we're building God's kingdom.
Again, I had more than one person say to me, I haven't watched a softball game all season, and I got hooked in, and my Sunday was gone. I was riveted the entire day and was hanging on every single pitch. So even the softball world is aware. The softball world knows about Liberty to start with and realizes this isn't as big of an upset as it's really being made out to be, because Flame softball has been in that national picture for a long time now. Yeah. But the casual fan that maybe not even a fan, they maybe they're a baseball fan and they go, well, what's this going on? Everybody's talking about this. Major League Baseball tweeted about this, whatever. And so
that's pretty cool.
You're gaining new fans for the university, for your team, but also for the sport of softball.
Yeah, and that's exciting because it is an exciting sport. And these young women, they compete hard. And I knew each year you could see the players coming in and the players returning, just nurturing the culture, caring about our standards, and giving so much more free time, like volunteer time, for them to get even better. And the Lord has brought an amazing staff to me. When you look at Coach Sammy and Coach, Fagan, Graham and Coach Kirby Nagel, and you look at just their experience and putting all of us together, from Olympic experience to NCAA national championship experience to SEC experience. I can go on and on. Professionalism. Coach Sammy Fagan Harmon and Coach Emily Kirby Nagel both played professional. Coach Nagel's still playing professional. So the biggest thing, though, is like the coaching staff that cares enough to take their experience, right, and to be a servant, having the servant heart to keep giving to each of our players, whether they know their role is a runner or their role is an ace pitcher, or a starter or not, whatever their role is. We treat them all the same because we love them all the same and want them to each reach their full potential. And someone's full potential could be way up here, but someone else might be down here, but it's still maximizing the best that they can be to prepare them for the real world. And so we live in a bubble of softball that helps us to be able to share life lessons through the game. And right now the game has become a sport. When we were in Texas A&M, for anyone that watched it, if you missed it, you go on demand and watch it. It's a battle. Every single inning is a battle. And we were fortunate to win the war for that regionals. And the battle continues. So in Oregon, in Eugene, facing the University of Oregon, highly ranked team that has been ranked a lot higher than 16 in the polls, that it's going to be a battle. But man, we are battle tested. And it's so fun, right? To use your gift and your passion to get on a field with somebody else's best and our best, and let's see who's better today. And I hope everyone tunes in, because it's just inspiring, like when you're doing what the Lord has put you in a place to do it. And I'm just so proud of the team. And I know that nobody's like, okay, well, we reached our goals now of being in the supers, and we made history for Liberty softball, and we made history by taking down the #1 national seed in regionals that had never been done before. 2 years ago, we took down UCLA in their regionals. Hadn't been a long time before UCLA had never gotten out of regionals. But it's not about those things. It's really about we're looking to see how far our best can take us. And we want World Series championship. But we know it comes with one pitch at a time. And so our kids are in the moment. And that's a special place when you're so locked in. And it's beautiful to see. And it's, I'm blessed, I'm humbled. I enjoy every minute with this team. These are amazing, young, godly women.
And there were no fluky wins either. You're talking about Texas A&M, a team that is run-ruling the Texases of the world and, playing SEC games in 5 innings, which you just don't. That's just unheard of. And you guys slugged with them toe for toe, pitch for pitch. Came down to it. 25-24 was the final score of the weekend. You won 25-24 as far as the total runs, which for the fans, they got to love it because the fans love offense. Now, I know sometimes the coaches are hoping for a little bit more of a pitcher's duel because you want your pitchers to do well. But it was a slugfest, and you guys went toe-to-toe with one of the best hitting teams in the country and two-out hitting, 13 two-out RBIs on Sunday. Unbelievable between those two games.
Texas A&M, they're the number one ranked team and deserved it because they don't throw that around, right? I mean, Oklahoma has had that for a few years. UCLA has had that for a few years. Arizona for a few years. So they don't throw that ranking around. And Texas A&M, you saw it. Great team. They can hit the ball. They got their number 1 and 2 with the speed. They got it done. And so did we. And a 1-run differential, we'll take it. I've always said, as long as you're 1 run ahead of the other team, but to do it in a pretty much clean fashion, it was, we had that second game, if you looked at it, a call here or there, or maybe not 6 errors. Right? But man, how much in our lives do we make mistakes? How many times do we screw up? It's going to happen. But the question is, do we repent from it? Do we on the softball field say, I'm going to learn from it? You're not a loser if you're a learner, because all of it will come into play. Because I tell you this, Jamie, this is kind of an inside thing. Savannah Jessie hadn't had a single hit in all the regional games leading up to this one moment. And that kid gets up there and said, you know what? I haven't been seeing the ball well. Kaylin Yoder had told her, just give it to God. So she gets up there before she steps in the batter's box and said, go God. And she crushed that pitch. That ball, was rocketed over the fence for that home run to tie the ball game up. Now you tell me this. In all of her at-bats that in her mind she, in quotations, failed, what is she going to remember? Wouldn't you have rather have had those moments of failure and that successful moment that she did that impact the game for us to win, as opposed to reversing it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need to all be prepared for that one pitch in our lives when it all comes together. God's got a purpose. I think about that picture that's in my office. I shared it with you in the 2000 Olympics when I played second base, even though I'm a shortstop. I played second for the nation at the Olympics. And all pre-Olympic tour, every time we had a pitch out for a pickoff, I screwed up. Either I wasn't there in time, the runner knocked the ball out, the throw, whatever it might be. So in 6 times, failed 6 times. And then, in the one moment to make history against China, Stacey Newman calls a pickoff. I give the receiving message, right? Signal. Everything was perfect. Timing, everything. We've got the player from China out at first. And I was so excited because we did it. I was like, yeah! And someone snapped the moment in the picture, the Kodak moment. The next hitter for China hit a double in right center, which would have scored that runner if we hadn't picked her off. And the United States would have lost. In that bronze medal game, we would have came in fourth. But instead, through all of those failures, to still believe and keep trying, we did it in the moment when it mattered the most. So that's the true victory. Never giving up. Don't quit. Just keep realizing life is tough. But man, in those moments, when you have those Kodak moments, you realize if I didn't have that heartbreak, if I didn't have this happen to me, I never would be where I am now. And hopefully where you are now is closer to the Lord, getting to know him and trust him. Those are the biggest message. But boy, it's sure fun, no matter what, to see these young women learning those life lessons and delivering it for the pleasure of the Lord and for those who watch.
Last one, I promise, because I know you need to heal your voice up, but a little scouting report on Oregon, and then I guess also I know there's a lot of Flames fans that are curious about some of these banged up Lady Flames, some injuries that you guys have been dealing with.
Well, if you think of Gideon in the Bible, like the Lord shifts through and he puts those in the places where he wants them to be, and he obviously is working, through us in Liberty softball with injuries and all of those different things, but everyone is healing. But the big thing with Oregon is they are a great team. They are ranked much higher, as I mentioned, than 16 in the country. And so it's going to take us to play flawlessly as well, to stay competitive. They have speed. They are a team that's scrappy and coached really well with Missy and her staff. And so pitching-wise in the circle is a transfer from Virginia Tech who we have seen before. And we're going to keep scouting. We're going to keep preparing. And it really comes down to showtime. So hopefully the girls continue to be in the moment, not get overwhelmed with stepping into history. And they've already made it. So now it's the point of you take down the number one team in the country. I think you can do it with some others. So let's play Liberty softball. As I say, go Flames and go God, because God is on the move. He always is. And I hope he gets the recognition from all the teams because he's deserving. He's our Lord and Savior, and Jesus Christ should be the center of it all. And I'm so pleased to represent Liberty University, who puts Christ in the center of it all, training champions for Christ.
Couldn't have said it any better. That's a great way to finish off this week's show. If you want information on how you can, I know tickets are not going to be easy to come by. So
no, they're not.
I don't know that tickets are a possibility at
Jamie,
this point.
Some of our players have been in tears trying to get tickets for their parents, their families, their friends. And I said, you guys, it's all a part of it. You just enjoy the process here, because the alternative would be we wouldn't be going to Super Regionals. We wouldn't have to worry about it. So isn't it good that you're having to worry about it? So it's all a part of it, and media is a part of it, as you can see all over, including your show. And we appreciate you giving us the attention that you are.
Well, it's our pleasure for sure, and I appreciate being along for the ride. And if those that want to follow along, of course, it'll be on ESPN. But if you don't have that, or if you want to kind of supplement that, you can put the audio up from the radio and watch the game on television, kind of sync it up. You can go to libertyflames.com on the app. The Liberty Flames app is the best way to sync it up because you can pause it. You can line it up to where it's the pitches are at the same time. But you can also go on YouTube and Facebook and follow along there as well, see our antics from the booths when sometimes we're maybe more excited than we should be, but that's all.
No, be excited, Jamie. Are you kidding me? It's exciting.
I just about knocked out Joe Carmody when he was looking for a high five after that last game, so he'll have to have a stronger base, I guess. We'll get Coach Will on him. But again, libertyflames.com, that's where you can find out all that good information, and we'll be talking to you from Oregon. Thanks for tuning in. So long, and God bless.
God bless you all.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames podcast. Join us next time as we visit with those making Liberty Flames news on the field, on the court, and in the classroom.